Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another in-depth review here on N&T Auto Reviews. My name is Tyler, as always behind the camera, giving you guys all these awesome in-depth walk-around videos on all these brand new cars. Today is a very special car in the fact that it is the 2019 Maserati Levante in the GTS trim level. Alrighty, so first things first, let's take a look at the window sticker. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the window sticker, but we're going to check out some of the main features of it. So as you can make out up here, we have our parts content, some basic information about the car. And if we work our way down just a little bit, we have our standard features. So we'll zoom in just a little bit so you can make those out. We also, if we move a little bit downwards, we have our total pricing for the vehicle. So we have our destination and then total. If we work our way up here, we find our options list. So I always like to show you the options list so we know exactly what we're working with this particular car. So of course you can pause the video and get more information on the window sticker. But again, don't want to spend too much time on it, because we want to get to the main features of this car because there are so many of them. So now that we're on the side profile of the Levante GTS, I wanted to mention that from this point and backwards, I had the car in the lowest air suspension setting, and now it is at its highest. So you can see that it's a pretty big difference with the air suspension. But getting back to our basic information about the car, the wheelbase stands at 118.2 inches, and we have 6 available color choices in the GTS trim level. The particular one we are working with is Bianco, this beautiful white color. And walking around to the rear, we can discuss our drivetrain options. So obviously the only option available for the drivetrain on the Levante is the Q4 all-wheel drive. Okay, so we can start off the details of the exterior up front, where we have an extremely aggressive front end with the GTS trim. Now you can notice just the sheer amount of intakes, the air intakes, even on the side and down at the bottom, up top with the main grille. There's a lot of air intakes on this car to let that V8 breathe. Now we can start off the details with the lighting up front. We can notice that there's a nice slim headlight design up top. We have LEDs for all bulbs, including our daytime lights, high and low beams. Everything is LED powered. We also have this nice little Maserati logo on the front of the bezel. And we also have our fog lights down below in this really neat design. We have parking sensors, of course, running the span of the front bumper, with this nice mesh down below and all these blacked out slats up here. Then you could also, since we're in the sun, you could make out the active grille shutters inside. So when the car needs more air to cool down a bit, these shutters will open up to allow more airflow. And if you need more aerodynamics, the car is running pretty cool, they'll stay closed like this. You also have all of your sensors for the adaptive cruise and whatnot right behind this sensor here, and a front view camera system. And looking up top, we have a very nice long and sloping hood with some pretty nice creases towards the edge and a little bit of more subtle ones towards the center. Now if we take a look around the wheel wells and down the side, we see that that's all body colored to give it a more sporty appearance with the GTS. We also have these very nice 21-inch machine finished alloy wheels. Tires up front measure 265/40. Very nice finish on these wheels. So you have the machine finish and then the gray pockets. We also have 6 piston red painted calipers up front with the ventilated and drilled rotors. We have the signature 3 air vents on the side. And I'd really like to thank these guys at Valenti for cleaning the car up for me. It looks really great, nice and clean. You have on your mirrors a combination of body color and then the black plastic. We also have down here some puddle lights and a camera for the 360 degrees view camera system. If we flip around, we could see both the blind spot indicator and the LED turn signal indicator. Taking a walk back, we have the body colored door handles. On all 4 door handles you have the smart key entry. Frameless doors, or frameless windows rather. Take a walk back a little bit more. We can see that we have the Maserati emblem on the side. Also the fuel filler door is on the side. Nice spoiler with some gloss black extensions. We also have the shark fin antenna. Full LED tail light units, and we could see actually that the crease in the tail lamp continues into the bumper back here. And as far as badging back here, we have the trim level embroiderment with the Maserati emblem spelled out back here. Also the Levante emblem as well. Down here we have a combination of the body colored and the black down here. Gives it a pretty sporty looking diffuser. And we also have the quad exhaust tips for the dual mode exhaust. Also parking sensors go all the way across the rear bumper. And up here, we have the parking camera and trunk release. So before we hop inside, this car does have the smart key entry system like I talked about earlier. I'll give you a little tutorial on it just so you know how to use it. Just make sure you have the key fob to the car within, a couple of feet of the car, and the system will work. If you want to lock the car, just press the button right here. If you want to unlock it, just put your hand right behind the handle and let it unlock. Now this car does come with a whole host of interior color choices. I believe there's right around 9 of them. I could be wrong, but could even be more. This particular color we're working with though is the Nero leather with the Rosso stitching. So this is a Maserati, so I'm going to tell you to pay close attention to the details. Now we have nice soft leather all the way up here. This gorgeous red stitching found throughout the interior. Especially over here, looks very nice. On the armrest over here, going up, Then we also have our two-person memory seats right here. We have the door handle kind of blending into the metalwork, and then some carbon fiber trim. We have the typical, lock, unlock, the window lockout, window controls for up and down is one touch. We also have the mirror controls with the folding function as well. This car does come optioned out with the optional 17-speaker Bowers & Wilkins audio system. It is a surround sound system too. You have a little storage pocket down here, and even all the way down here, it's not quite a leather, but it's not a hard touch material. It's nice and soft. So that's the kind of things you get when you opt to buy a Maserati. Taking a look at the left of the dash, we have an air vent over here. We have our lighting controls with our fog lamps, as well as the engine start-stop button. Down here we have these really nice stainless steel pedals with the raised rubber grips, and you also have your hood release right over here. You have the Maserati sill plate that illuminates at night. You also have 12-way powered seats with the 4-way lumbar. Very sporty looking seats, especially for an SUV here. And we just have to keep in mind that we're looking at a SUV that's this sporty. It's just amazing. We have the red stitching, or the Rosso stitching, going all the way around the headrest with the Maserati emblem right there. We also have more stitching around the outside of the seats, and then the same black stitching on the inside. So it's all perforated, all stitched. Beautiful attention to detail on this car. Also, the leather is very, very soft. But next, let's check out the driver's cockpit. We'll take a seat and we'll start her up for you. Now here's the key fob that Maserati kindly gives you when you buy one of their cars. It's very, very, it's got a lot of quality to it. It's quite heavy as well, which just shows you that they obviously use real metal, some type of aluminum on the side of the key there. But we have the Trident logo on the back of the key, and then all of our buttons are on the face, with a lock, unlock, trunk release, and remote start. And there also is a physical key on the inside that you could slide out in case your key battery dies or doesn't work or whatever. So all you need to do to start the car is just make sure your foot's on the brake, and you could locate the engine start-stop button right on the left of the dash. That beautiful sounding twin turbocharged V8 will roar to life. Alright, so we could start off with the functionalities of the steering wheel. Now first off, the materials on the steering wheel. You have this nice soft leather up top with some stitching on the inside. You have some awesome grip bolsters up here, so you can hold it like this or like this, and it's very comfortable. You have some nice dimpled perforations as well, to give you that just a little bit of an extra grip. But then again, the buttons on the steering wheel on the left side, you have your adaptive cruise control settings, as well as your distance keeping alert and whatnot. And you can also set your distance to the car in front of you with this button here for the adaptive cruise. Taking a look across the airbag cover, we have all of our buttons for the Bluetooth as well as voice commands. And then these buttons for the information display up there. Now since this is a GTS, we have paddle shifters mounted to the column, which is actually the way I like it, believe it or not. you always know where the paddle shifters are, no matter if your steering wheel is like this or like this. You know, you always know where the paddle shifters are. Also, behind the steering wheel, you have the stalk here, multifunction for your turn signals, your high beams, and also your front and rear wipers. Now, there are hidden buttons behind the steering wheel, so it reduces the clutter on the face of the steering wheel. I'm not sure if you can make them out, but there's a rocker over here that controls your audio volume. And then it's the same on this side, but it controls your going back and forth between your radio stations. If we take a look up here, we have this gorgeous leather stitched dashboard with again the Rosso stitching. We have the beautiful analog clock up here with a speaker right behind it. If we take a look down here, we have the 8.4-inch Maserati Infotainment display, which is just pretty much our home screen with all of our different apps. We can control anything from our climate to our heated seats to our different navigation screens and everything throughout this one screen. Or we can use our different little, I guess you could say, presets at the bottom of the screen. This will show you your radio, you have your source up here, different information down below, and then your presets are listed up top. We have our media, and again, once you connect your phone with the Bluetooth, or you can either plug it into, more options will become available on this screen as well as your phone screen, as you can imagine. You know, again, once you hook up your phone, you can enter your phone book and you can start making and receiving calls. You also have your different various controls. So we have our different safety features you could customize or just turn them on and off. We have our auto high beams. We can also just turn the screen right off, like so. You touch it, it'll turn right back on. Start, stop, turn on and off. And then we also have our surround view camera system right over here. So this is a top view. You saw the camera in the front as well in the back, and then on the mirrors they stitch all those pictures together to get a 360 degrees view camera system. And it does look very nice. We have the rear view camera over here, and then we can also have a wide angle or a cross path rear view angle. Then we have a cross path front angle, and then just your regular front camera. And those guidance lines for both the front and rear cameras do adjust as well to aid in parking and whatnot. And we also have our settings over here, which you go quickly through. We have our climate screen over here, so you could both access your climate through the screen or this little quadrant of buttons over here. We have our fan speed right below, and then we also have our seat controls, so our heated seats right over here, our cooled seats over here, and then our heated steering wheel right in the center. We have our temperatures to either side for the front, and then all of our different settings such as the defrosters, recirculating, AC and whatnot right up top. And then lastly, we can check out our navigation screen. Right over here is where you input your destination, and then right over here is your map, which looks pretty decent. It'll also display your speed limit right over here too. We have the Levante nameplate right below the screen with a couple of air vents on either side. Again, here's your climate control, the fan speeds in the center, and then the temperatures on either side. We have a little covered storage tray right over here, which opens up. It's a little bit of a felt storage tray. It looks like you could put your phone in there. It goes in pretty deep as well, and you can see there's a couple of inlets there, one for your auxiliary, one for USB, and one for an SD card. Taking a look back here, we have another cover for our cup holders. We also have a cigarette lighter. Look at that. And it is nicely covered with this carbon fiber portion. We also have our gear selector for the 8-speed automatic. Again, new gear selector for the 2019 model year, I believe. So pretty nice, a little bit better looking than the outgoing one, and a little bit more user-friendly. Now the way the gear selector works is obviously electronic, and there's an unlock at the back right here where my middle finger is. Now we're going to park at the moment. If you want to put it into drive, you press the unlock in and bump it down. We're now in drive. If you want to get up to reverse, well actually while we're in drive you have the manual mode. You can change gears over here or up here with the paddle shifters. If you want to put it into reverse, press the unlock and put it up. If you want to get into neutral from really any gear, do not hold the unlock and just bump it. And putting you into park is as simple as pressing the P. Down here we have a little array of buttons where you can turn your traction control off. We also have a few different modes right here too. The off-road mode, the increased stability and efficiency mode right over here. And we also have the almighty sport button, which opens up the exhaust valves and really lets that V8 roar. It also lowers your air suspension and quickens up your throttle response as well. Speaking of the air suspension, you also have this button right here to put the suspension only in the sport mode. You also have a couple of rotary dials, one on the bottom, one on the top, and those are for your screen in case you don't want to use the touch screen. So you kind of have the best of both worlds. You can either use the dials or the touch screen, and these two buttons go along with it as well. You have your hazards over here, your electronic parking brake, as well as your ride height selection. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ride heights that you could select, and over here you can manually select them. You have a button right here that releases your armrest to reveal a nice storage console. It is quite shallow, but it's definitely enough room to fit your phone, and the armrest is covered in this nice soft leather. You have your auto dimming rear view mirror up here, and up here on your center stack we have a whole array of controls. We have the interior lights, our garage door home link, our sunshade controls, and our sunroof controls, so we can slide it back and forth with these two buttons, and then tilt it with this one right here. You have a trunk opener, and then turning on and off your parking sensors as well. But speaking of the sunroof, it is a full panoramic unit. The sunshade is obviously powered, which helps out. Then up here we have the full Alcantara headliner finished in black, and I've always had a soft spot for these black headliners. It really just makes the car look, under the radar, pretty sleek in my opinion. Also up here, take a look, we have stitching even on the edge of the sun visor. We have a nice card holder over here, and you could slide the mirror open and the light will come on and off. And you also have a grab handle right over here. One thing, I don't know how I forgot, but I did forget to mention the gauge unit. Up here we have a combination of analog and digital displays. Right over here we have the speedometer, and over here we have the tachometer, and right in the center of the tachometer it actually says V8. And actually, I gotta bring up the point, when was the last time you saw an SUV with a speedometer that read out to 230 miles an hour? That's pretty crazy. But in the center screen right over here we have a digital setup, and we can control the digital setup with these set of buttons on the bottom. So we have our main menu over here, which kind of just displays our digital speedometer. We'll gear in our mileage, date and time, and then our fuel gauge and temperatures. But if we scroll down, we'll get even more menus. So we have our tire pressures, a few different temperatures, and then our oil pressure, as well as our battery voltage and maintenance. We can scroll down again to our different driving modes. It'll tell us what percentage of power is coming from which wheels, so the rear or front. of our driving assistance features, our fuel economy screen, our trip A and trip B's. We also have our start-stop information, our audio screen, stored messages and reminders, as well as our vehicle settings, so you can configure your settings from this screen right here. But for this point of the video, I'm going to adjust the driver's seat to a comfortable driving position for my 5'10" self. And we'll check out the rear quarters, see what kind of features we have back there, see what kind of room we have back there. So the attention to detail is still here in the back seats, just like it is in the front. So we still have the leather portion all the way up here, all this beautiful stitching in the Rosso color, the carbon fiber, the metal work, 2 Bowers & Wilkins speakers. You even have a lock and unlock button back here with the window switch, and your heated seats controls are right down here. We have the Maserati sill plate. We also have our rear seats. Again, same attention to detail as up front. Really beautiful seat design. So I'll hop in and see how much room we have back here. So it is a mid-size SUV, so you have a decent amount of room back here. So at least 2 to 3 inches of space. So it is plentiful back here, and the panoramic sunroof continues nicely. You can see you have a grab handle and LED light on either side. You can fold down the armrest and see that you have 2 cup holders and a pass-through. We also have some functionalities back here. So we have a 12-volt power outlet as well as 2 USB chargers, a couple of air vents back here, and then your individual climate controls back here. So it is a 4-zone climate control. You can adjust your temperatures over here, your zones, and your fan speed. Pretty comfortable seats back here too, I have to say. It's quite a nice place to be. You have coat hooks back here too. But for the next portion, we're going to check out the glove box and see what the front passenger space has to offer. So the front passenger door is much like the driver's as far as design. Just a few less buttons as you'd expect. You still have the full powered seats on the passenger side. But you get a glove box and some nice carbon fiber trim over here. You open that up, you actually have a pretty good amount of space and a couple of USB chargers. And it is felt lined in there too. So the Levante GTS does come with the full powered liftgate. It'll kind of beep at you just to let you know that it's coming up and warn anybody that's around to get out of the way. But it is all carpeted back here, and you have some nice loading bars over here so you don't scratch anything. You have cargo tie downs in all 4 corners. You have lights in both corners over there, and then some grocery bag hooks. You also have the cargo cover too. You have your controls right over here, so you don't have to go reaching up. And you also have this that you can open up, and there's kind of a divided storage tray. And underneath this storage tray is the spare tire. So this car does have a spare tire. You can see that the seats fold 60-40, and then you can also see the pass-through when you fold down the armrest in the back. Alright, so opening the lid to the 21.1 gallon fuel tank. According to the EPA, this car is rated at 14 in the city and 18 on the highway. And it does require premium gas, and you can see that that is written in Italian. Pretty neat. So now this video must come to an end now that we're both educated on the Maserati Levante GTS. I hope you have enjoyed the video just as much as I have.